Steve Handy Productions present the USSSA Men's Church State Tournament at Wallace Sports Complex in Salem, Oregon. Today's game features the Salem Christian Fellowship versus the Willamette Valley Fellowship. I'm Alan Bushong. I'm not going to be on camera, and usually I'm in the truck, but our regular announcers couldn't be here. We're getting ready for a winner's bracket game here in this tournament. Sometimes these are the absolute best games of the tournament, too. We've seen the Salem Christian Fellowship play before. Lots of pop in the bat. They also pitched well and they fielded well. They didn't give up a lot of cheap outs, or they didn't give up any outs with errors. And they also didn't walk people, and they took advantage of having men on base. They had the ability to pop the ball out of the park. Just talking with one of the Willamette Valley Christian fellas, and he says that they play each other a lot, that they generally play either close games or blowouts, that Salem Christian Fellowship has had a little bit of the upper hand recently, but every game is proven on the field. They're just taking their final warm-up pitches now. There goes the ball down to second base, and we'd expect to see the first hitter for Willamette Valley Christian. And I really appreciate that from the team bringing me the lineup here. And the very first player that we're going to see is Matt DePaul. He's a shortstop, number 18. We've seen an awful lot of good hitting first hitters here so far in the tournament. And he's another lefty. Have to take a look and see who's pitching for the Salem Christian Fellowship. Looks like the same pitcher that we saw earlier. Ball high in the air, and even though the wind's blowing out a little bit, that's been bad news today, as it is in this at bat. And Matt DePaul is a fly out to right center field. It's always a good start. We'll take a look at that. He gets into the ball, but he's underneath it too much. And that was not even a challenge. Here we've got number 33, Brian Bratcher. He's an outfielder, and he finds the honey hole, and that's been a hit all day, and it still is. Putting a runner on for Willamette Valley Fellowship. He's going to be followed in the lineup by Ryan Yates. He's a third baseman. He takes a look at ball one. A ball with a lot of pace there, and they turn over the double play quite nicely. Tailor-made double play ball. You'll see a lot of pacing to the shortstop, the short flip to second base, and the quick relay over to first, and he's out by a full stride. And so Willamette Valley Fellowship fails to score in the first inning. You always want to try to get on the board, but that didn't happen. So they've got no runs, and now we'll see Salem Christian Fellowship. We need to actually reverse that on the score page because Willamette Valley batted first in this game. Now we're going to see a lineup that we know is potent. We don't know if they'll be potent in this game. Very interesting style there. The pitcher for Willamette Valley Fellowship is wearing a batting helmet. May have caught a line drive at some time, maybe protecting something there. But we've seen a lot of hitting from this Salem Christian Fellowship team, including their leadoff hitter, the shortstop, number 44, Don Briles, who we saw just splatter the ball all over the place in the game that they won earlier. We saw them win 18-7 on a 10-run rule. So he steps in here in the first inning. It's always fun to be out at Wallace Marine. It is a tremendous day. Players and crew both a little bit warm, though, for this July. And he won't like that at bat. Doesn't even run the ball out, though it's in fair territory as he pops up to the third baseman. He got around on it, but he was way under it. And we'll take a look at it here. The ball's up in the air, in fair territory, an easy out. Bringing up Derek Kahn, the third baseman. We saw him play in the field, saw a lot of arm from him in the game earlier. Good field, good throw. And he's way high in the air too, but this one may have eyes. And it does. There's enough pop in the bat of this Salem Christian Fellowship team that the outfielders have to play deep and respect it. And the wind is going out at a pretty good pace right now toward left field. Well, I think toward left field. It's kind of swirling around. Derek Kahn was able to drop in a Texas leaguer. That brings up Kyle Hughes. We saw him park a ball earlier. He's a left center fielder. And that's a tough one to give up there, and he's going to take second base on this ball, too, that goes through the wickets at second base. It's tough to give up outs, and especially outs that put runners in scoring position. We'll take a look at it here. A hard hit ball, a lot of pace, and it goes on through. No hesitation on the parts of these runners in getting themselves into scoring position. That brings up Ed Dean, the second baseman, and he put it up in the wind and he put it out. So that's a 3-0 game. And then once again, we've seen this from the Salem Christian Fellowship team. They've got the ability to put the ball out. And a good use of a home run. They have only 2 home runs, but with 2 runners on, getting off to a quick start. That brings up Colby Mullen, or Milan. We're going to go with Mullen. We hope we have that pronounced correctly. He's a left fielder. Really good arm when we've seen him play in the field. They start with a 1-1 count, so right now he's literally at 2-2. And he's put that ball high in the air. Almost straight away center field. The left center fielder for Willamette Valley Fellowship picks that ball off, and we'll see it here. Pretty good drive, but so high that either of the center fielders would have been able to get that ball. That's going to move us on to Brian Frazier, another lefty. He's the right center fielder, and he takes ball 1. That fills the count, so something has to happen here. And he takes the ball. And we saw pretty good plate discipline. I think that's the key term from Billy Bean, the general manager of Oakland, and finding underpriced players who are overachievers. Well, that one will get a laugh in the dugout, or maybe not. But Dave Helbert, the first baseman, rips one down the left field foul line and right at his third base coach, who shows pretty good quickness to get out of the way. And he drives that ball in the air also, and it's a long way, and it is against the fence. That's going to score 1 run. And Helbert may have comes in limping to second base. He's looking for a pinch runner. No problem on the swing there. As you can see, this ball's driven, and in some ways it's very good because you don't want to use a second home run in the first inning. Gets the runner home anyway. Good 2-out hitting to score the runner. From first base, making this a 4-0 ball game. Brings up Chris Davison, the right fielder. And we've got a full count here. Fouls this one off, so this is truly a full count. The ball must be put in play. Only 1 foul ball allowed after the first strike. Keep somebody from making an endless game of pulling the ball foul or pushing it foul. So Chris Davison will need to put this ball in play or walk. And he certainly puts it in play. Will the runner come home? No hesitation. And we've seen that a fair amount too. The runner falling down rounding first. Looks like the dirt's pretty loose, but it's not loose enough to keep this from now being a 5-0 ball game. Remembering what the Willamette Valley Fellowship player told me when he brought me the roster, that these games tend to be close, they tend to be blowouts. And a nice catch out there in foul territory by the left fielder for Willamette Valley Fellowship, but the damage has been done. In the bottom of the first, Salem Christian Fellowship will take a look at this long drive, but up in the air, foul, and out. But the damage has been done. 5 runs across the board for Salem Christian Fellowship, continuing the great hitting that we saw from them earlier in the day. And they now lead this game 5-0. Taking a look there at the pitcher for Salem Christian Fellowship, Guy Campstra, pitched earlier. Gave up 7 runs. Slow pitch, sometimes that can be a really good game. It was a game that they won 18-7. We're now going to see Jerry Plant, he's the second baseman, batting cleanup. Generally, you've got pretty good 3, 4, 5, 6 hitters. Shade's starting to come across the ballpark, so we see this right-handed batter in the shade. The pitcher's still in the sun. Most of the field's in the sun. And that's a well-hit ball, and he's going to get at least 2 bases out of it, and he's not going to settle for 2. And we were told that Jerry could hit, and indeed he can. He puts a triple out there to center field. You know, your leadoff hitter, you really don't want to see put the ball out of the park. But you sure like to see him get in scoring position so there's no fielder choice or force out. Good running on the base pass, nice squaring up. That'll bring up James, looks like Glennis. Might be Gunnis. We'll call him James. He's the first baseman. Fouls it over into the stands along third base. We have less than a standing room only crowd here. And he gets up into it also and does the same thing. We've noticed that the Salem Christian Fellowship outfielders tend to play in a little bit. And he's able to double over the head. Kyle Hughes. Pretty much to straightaway center. The wind is not only pushing the ball out there, there's a nice little hook to that ball. That's going to bring up Sean Tracy. So the Willamette Valley Fellowship starting to answer this challenge, and that ball could be gone. That's hit a long, long, long way as it rolls up toward the street. And they're not making them run it out this late, and with nobody out yet in this inning, we see a real answer here. The game's now 5-3. You like to see that too. Lucky Rogers now, who's the right fielder, coming to bat. Trying to roughly keep score here. I don't have very good score sheets for it, but to let you know what batters have done in previous at-bats. It's pretty high in the air, and these outfielders may have to move back. Lucky's not satisfied with 2 bases, and he has tripled with nobody out. With a pretty strong wind here, we're seeing the ball in play. It's going to bring up Joe Van Veldheiser. If I've got that wrong, I've got about a 1 in 50 chance of having that name right from what I'm reading here. I apologize for the 49 out of 50. Now there's the first out of the inning, but it's not going to keep the runner on third base. So he lines out. He lines out, but now it's a 1-run ball game. It's now 5-4. 4 runs across the plate here in the top of the second for Willamette Valley. And they brought their bats in this inning without the top of the order. That may bode well for them later on in the game. Those 4 through 7 hitters really clobbered the ball. Very high. Let's see if the wind does something to this. And the left fielder all the way back to the fence. But a lot of balls going a long way today, and the 3 home run rule, the wind's going to keep blowing like this, and they're going to keep jacking the ball like this. They may be through their 3 home runs well before the midway point of this game. You'll see nice play by the left fielder all the way back and then bracing against the fence. Good job, and that brings up the number 10 hitter, Chuck Baker. He's a catcher. And he's got a single. Pretty nice inning going here. Back to our leadoff hitter, Matt DePaul. He hit a high fly ball out to the right center fielder in the first inning. He's already batting in the second inning. That tells you a little bit about the offense. Well, that's foul by a little bit, and he's used up his foul balls now. So let's see what he does with a 2-strike count. This late afternoon sun's always beautiful. It's a little hard for TV cameras to deal with. Pitches him way inside, looking, I think, trying to get him to hit another foul ball. But no way. Kyle Hughes with a nice catch, and almost straightaway centers the left center fielder. And that is all for Willamette Valley Fellowship, but that was good for them as they come up with 4 runs. See that nice play there by Kyle Hughes. The ball goes over his head. It's a tie ball game because the runner's going to score with 2 outs. Willamette Valley Fellowship, nice job in answering, coming back, really hitting the ball up and down the lineup. And they've got a 5-4, but Salem Christian Fellowship hasn't batted yet. So that 0 is sure what Willamette Valley Fellowship would like, but we'll have to see if that's what happens. Salem Christian Fellowship in the first inning came within 1 batter of batting around, putting across 5 runs, leaving a runner on. So they're going to start with their pitcher, Guy Kampstra, hitting. And hitting he does. And he puts out a double. He's got a brace on his leg. We commented they throw behind him and he takes that extra base. Nicely done there. We'll take a look at it here, and once again, nicely hit ball, but if you're going to throw behind the runner, you better have a chance to get the runner out. Otherwise, you just give the runner a chance to advance. And here's shortstop Don Bryles. And he's got the ball high in the air, and that will score a runner. I doubt that he's happy with that, though, with 1 out. Although that does bring home their 6th run. That'll lead to Derek Kahn batting with 1 out. Salem Christian Fellowship's picked up. You can see once again the ball's back to the wall. But I wouldn't be surprised to see the coaches say, let's start. Everybody's putting the ball high in the air, and that could lead to some low-scoring innings here. 1 pitch, we have the 2nd out, and that'll bring up Kyle Hughes. Kyle reached on an error the first time. Derek Kahn had a single in the first inning, but Kyle Hughes got on an error when the ball went through the second baseman, and the next player up, Ed Dean, parked the ball. I wouldn't be surprised to see the coaches say, let's get over the top of the ball a little bit here and try to get some line drives. Home runs are going to go through in a hurry. Both teams have already hit one. Nice stop by the second baseman, and the short throw gives him the opportunity to record the out. Not a big inning, and here we're going to see that again. Now he makes a nice safe stop knowing that he has the short throw. Kyle Hughes putting a burn down there, but not enough. But the 1 run in the second inning is going to put Salem Christian Fellowship 1 more run ahead. And they now have a 2-run lead at 6-4. Well, there are more games to go in this tournament. We may not be able to record them. Getting the winner's bracket game is always great, but there will be a loser. The team that loses this game will play another team that's already in the loser's bracket, and the winner of that game will play the winner of this game. If the winner wins, they're champion, and if not, in double elimination, you play the if game. Okay, once again, the ball's up in the air there. Number 33, Brian Bratcher, who had hit a single in the first inning, lifts the ball for a fly ball to the right center fielder for the first out of the third inning, and that's going to bring up Ryan Yates, the third baseman. He hit a 6-4-3 double play in the first inning, and he's done a lot better this time. Hitting a ball that is a hit about 100% of the time. That's going to bring up their cleanup hitter. Take a look at that again. Cleanly hit, cleanly fielded. Got a ball here, and Jerry Plant, the cleanup hitter, second baseman, and he hit a triple the first time, and he hit it just about to the same place this time. Now the runner's going to tag, but that ball was higher in the air, and a fly ball out to the right fielder. So with 2 out, we're going to bring up James Gunnis. And take a look at that again. The ball's high in the air, plenty of time, out. And we get a goose egg here with a soft line drive to the second baseman. Only one hit in the inning. Willamette Valley Fellowship not able to capitalize on that hit. So quite quickly, for the second time in the game, they have failed to score. We'll take a look at this. It's a line drive, but with not a lot of pacing. And so for the second time in the game, Willamette Valley Fellowship fails to score with some of the best hitters in their lineup. So it's now 6-4. We'll move to the bottom of the third. It's going to bring up the 4, 5, and 6 hitters for Salem Christian Fellowship. One of the good things about softball, slow pitch softball, these games really move along. There is a 1 hour time limit. I'm not sure we've been challenged with that 1 hour time limit all day. Having fun with his warm-up there, the pitcher with a little overhand. He's first going to face Ed Dean, a second baseman. Ed parked a 3-run shot in the first inning, providing the first scoring of the game. I doubt that he's going to be looking to do anything even close to that now with the bases empty. Nobody out. And the third baseman recovered on that. Third baseman for Willamette Valley. Ryan Yates recovered, kept the ball in front of him, but not able to throw out the runner, although he made an excellent throw and made the play close. Let's take a look at this. It's close play. The runner's in, and let's see, is this ball going to drop? Yes, it does, and now will they have the force play at second? And the answer is no. So a pretty good job of hitting it where they are not. Second baseman going back, trying to get one of the toughest plays in softball or baseball. That's going to bring up Brian Frazier, the right center fielder, who's up with two runners on, 2 teammates on, and nobody out. An opportunity to put some distance in this game. And a real missed opportunity here. We got to take a look at this. It's a comebacker to the pitcher. Not able to field it cleanly, or he would have had the play at third base. Instead, he goes to second, pulls the runner off, wow. Runner never got back to the base. So if there was a tag there, that was a hard one for the umpire to see. However, the play that stands is that the bases are loaded with nobody out. We have a fielder's choice there on the 1-4. And Dave Helbert, the first baseman's batting. They get a great double play. Well, you couldn't ask for anything better other than a triple play. A hard ground ball to the third baseman, who tags out, goes home for the tag play. We'll get a look at it here. If you're on defense, you'll love it. If you're on offense, this is just about the worst thing that could happen. And done exactly right. Take the force play, and then the tag out at the plate. 2 quick outs. The 2 lead runners erased. Chance to turn what could have been a huge inning for Salem Christian Fellowship into no inning at all. Brings up Chris Davison, the right fielder. Had an RBI single in the first inning. Big inning. And he walks. So the bases are once again loaded. This brings up Don Butler. Flew out to end the first inning, but in the game one, or the first game that we did with this team, in the same position with 2 outs and the bases loaded, he parked the ball. Let's see what happens. Takes an outside pitch there with a strike. And he grounds to an unassisted putout for the third baseman. And so a promising inning ends up providing no runs. Bases loaded, nobody out. We'll take a look at the last out. A really big play of that inning was that 5-2 third to catcher double play. And I think and so that leaves our score at 6-4. They may still be discussing that play at second base, which ends up not having any impact on the game. We saw that the runner really never got back to the base, but we don't know if the runner was tagged. We know that the runner started walking off the field as though he thought he was out. Here's a double play. This is a huge play in this game because the difference between this play and a hit is maybe 5 or 6 runs in the inning. A hit not only brings 2 runners home, but uses no outs. So that's just an absolutely huge play. And quickly we have 2 balls here. And we have 3 of them. So the leadoff hitter, Lucky Rogers, who had tripled in the second inning, leads off with a walk, bringing up Joe Van Veldhuizer. This is their pitcher. Got a sacrifice fly. Well, the second baseman recovers there, and that's the nice part about, let's take a look at this. It's the nice part about being close on a force play. You can drop the ball, and a bang-bang play, I'd say the umpire got it exactly right. There's 1 out. Only 1 umpire doing this game, and when you have action on the base pass, now that could be is that a tie ball game or is that a long fly ball out? It is out of here, and we have a tie ball game. So I was talking earlier about how the 9th hitter on Salem Christian Fellowship could park the ball, and now we can see the 9th hitter, Vance Chapman, can park the ball. And as we see it right here, there's a favorable wind blowing out there, and there's their second home run, and their second home run ties this game at 6. And the pitcher does a nice job in getting over there. We saw this play earlier today. Pitcher has to leave right away, and we'll see the pitcher leaving, getting the play from the first baseman, beating the runner by a full stride. For the second out of the inning, bring up Matt DePaul, the leadoff hitter and shortstop. CCTV crew doing a great job here late in the day and getting those replays in, and slow pitch softball is really tricky. You don't have much time before that next batter comes up. Full count here. Let's see what happens. Nice job of hitting. Nice job of 2-out hitting, though nobody's on. That's Matt's first hit of the game. Drives it out into left center field, and it's going to bring up Brian Bratcher, who's 1 for 2. He's got a single and a fly out. Didn't score in the first inning. That ball's high enough in the air. Kind of fooled the left center fielder a little bit. but he makes a nice catch out there to end this inning. But they don't end the inning before Willamette Valley Fellowship comes up with the tying runs. The tying runs, courtesy home run, up in the wind, out over left center field as we see the end of the last out of the inning. And that's going to make it a 6-6 game. Willamette Valley Fellowship, we need to get 2 runs there on Willamette Valley in the 4th inning as they tie this game 6-6. Well, we're going to move on now to the second half of the ball game.